Friday. Tonight, Rowley's parents went out to dinner, so they got him a babysitter. I don't know why Rowley can't just watch himself for a few hours, but believe me, I'm not complaining. Rowley's babysitter is Heather Hills, and she's the prettiest girl at Crossland High School. So whenever the Jeffersons go out, I always make sure to be up at Rowley's for story time. I went up to Rowley's at about 8 o'clock tonight. I even splashed on some of Roderick's cologne to make sure I made a good impression on Heather. I knocked on the door and waited for Heather to answer, but I was caught a little off guard when Rowley's next-door neighbor Leland answered instead. I can't believe Rowley's parents switched babysitters from Heather to Leland. They should have at least checked with me before doing something stupid like that. Once I realized Heather wasn't there, I turned around to go back home. But Rowley asked me if I wanted to hang out and play Magic and Monsters with him and Leland. The only reason I said yes was because I thought it was some kind of video game. But then I found out that you play it with pencils and paper and these special dice, and that you're supposed to use your imagination or whatever. It actually turned out to be pretty fun. Mostly because in Magic and Monsters, you can do all sorts of stuff you could never do in real life. Like light Rowley's eyebrows with a torch. When I got home, I told Mom all about Magic and Monsters and how Leland was a really awesome dungeon keeper. Roderick overheard me talking about Leland, and he said that Leland is the biggest nerd at his high school. But this is coming from a guy who spends his Saturday nights putting fake throw-up on people's cars in the Home Depot parking lot. So I think I'll just take Roderick's opinion with a grain of salt. Wednesday. I've been going up to Leland's house every day after school to play Magic and Monsters. I was headed up there again today when Mom stopped me at the door. Mom has been acting real suspicious of this whole Magic and Monsters thing. And from the questions she's been asking me, I guess she must think Leland is teaching me and Rowley witchcraft or something. So today, Mom said she wanted to go with me to Leland's to watch us play. I begged Mom not to come, because first of all, I knew she would never approve of all the violence in the game. And second of all, I knew that having her in the room would totally ruin the whole experience for everyone. When I begged Mom not to join us, it made her even more suspicious. So now there was no changing her mind. Rowley and Leland couldn't have cared less that Mom came with me, but I couldn't enjoy myself because I felt like a total dork playing in front of her, saying things like, "My wizard Talrock utters the spell of Talrune." I figured Mom would eventually get bored and just go home, but she stuck around. And right when I thought she was finally going to leave, Mom said that she wanted to join in the game. So Leland started setting up a character for Mom, even though I was trying to signal to him that it was a big mistake. When Leland created a character for Mom, Mom told Leland she wanted her character to be my character's mother in the game. I did some quick thinking and told Mom that all the characters in Magic and Monsters are orphans, so she couldn't be my mother. And Mom believed me. But then she asked Leland if she could name her character Mom, and he said yes. I have to give Mom credit for figuring out that loophole, but it totally ruined the rest of the game for me. Even though Mom wasn't technically my mother in the game, she sure acted like she was. At this one point, our characters were hanging out in a tavern waiting for a spy to arrive, and my dwarf, Grimlawn, ordered a pint of mead. Mead is sort of like beer in Magic and Monsters, and I guess Mom didn't approve of that. She found a way to accidentally bump Grimlawn's arm and spill his drink. The worst part of the game was when we got into a battle situation. See, the whole point of Magic and Monsters is that you're supposed to kill as many monsters as possible so you can get points and move up in levels. But I don't really think Mom got that concept. When Leland announced that Mom had run into a pack of orcs and they looked hungry, she said, "We give them all of our food." After about an hour of things going like this, I decided to quit. So I gathered up my stuff, and me and Mom headed home. On the way back, Mom was really talking up magic and monsters, saying how it could help me with my math skills and stuff like that. All I can say is, I hope she isn't planning on becoming a regular at these games, because the first chance I get, Mom is getting handed over to a pack of orcs. Thursday. After school today, Mom took me to the bookstore and bought just about every magic and monsters book on the shelf. She must have dropped about $200, and she didn't even make me cash in a single Mom buck. I realized maybe I judged Mom a little too quick, and maybe it wasn't such a bad thing having her in our group after all. I was all set to take my new books up to Leland's, but that's when I found out there was a catch. Mom actually bought all these books so me and Roderick could play magic and monsters together. She said it was a good way for the two of us to work out our differences. Mom told Roderick she wanted him to be the dungeon keeper, just like Leland. Then she dumped the pile of books on Roderick's bed and told him to start studying up. It was bad enough playing in front of Mom at Leland's house, but I knew playing with Roderick would be about 10 times worse. Mom was serious about me and Roderick playing together, so I knew I was going to have to go through with it. I spent about an hour up in my room making up characters with names Roderick couldn't make fun of, like Joe and Bob. Once I was finished, I met Roderick in the kitchen, and we started our game. In his first move as dungeon keeper, Roderick said, "You and your group of nerds fall into a pit, and it's full of dynamite and you blow up. The end." I guess I should be grateful that it was over with quickly. And I just hope Mom saved her receipts on those books.
실용 핵심 문장을 영어로 말해보는 스피킹 시간입니다. 오늘도 6문제 준비했고요. 자, 첫 번째. 난 심지어 로드릭에 향수를 뿌렸다. I even splashed on some of Roderick's cologne. 두 번째, 실제로는 꽤 재밌는 것으로 드러났다. It actually turns out to be pretty fun. 세 번째, 난 로드릭의 말을 걸러서 들어야 할 것 같다. I think I just take Roderick's opinion with a grain of salt. 네 번째, 난 그 허점을 알아낸 엄마의 공로를 인정해야 한다. I have to give Mom credit for figuring out that loophole. 다섯 번째, 난 내 물건을 챙겨서 엄마와 집으로 갔다. I gathered up my stuff and me and Mom headed home. 여섯 번째, 난 꿍꿍이가 있다는 것을 알게 되었다. I found out there was a catch. 네, 오늘은 여기까지고요. 감사합니다.